Okay, so I'm happy to make a start this evening. So again, if you've just joined in, thank you for attending our Woolworths Career Blast Coordinator training session this evening. So we are getting started now. Again, you play a big part in getting many young blasters out in the park, and your efforts on the cricket field go a big way in getting them into the game of cricket and then keeping them in the game of cricket. So big thank you on behalf of everyone here at Cricket Victoria, and we also would like to offer any assistance and support during the season to keep you having fun coordinating this blast, this season of Cricket Blast. So thank you ever so much. We are going to make a start. So I'll start with acknowledgement of country. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional custodians on the lands on which we gather on today. For me, it's the land of the Boorong people of the Kulin Nation. I'd like to pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. Also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which people online are coming from today, and pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. Just some housekeeping. Could I please request everyone have your cameras off? You can keep them off if you keep them on if you like, but and your microphones on mute because it's going to help us with some better quality and reception, and it doesn't we wouldn't have any background noises coming our way. So please keep your videos off and your microphones on mute. If you'd like to ask a question, you can use the chat function there and type away. We've got some cricket managers and some support staff on this call here today who can answer your questions on the go, or we can also bring it up in this webinar today. So feel free to use the chat function. Also acknowledging that there's a lot of experience on this call. So if you've got any cool ideas, tips and tricks that you would like to share with your fellow coordinators, feel free to use the chat function and drop those comments there. Just an FYI, this webinar is being recorded, so if you do want to go back and watch it, or if you missed something that you want to go back and revisit, this would be going up on our CV website, so you can access this webinar back on our website. Some quick introduction. So my name is Akshay Kodot, and I'm the Junior Programs Lead for the Melbourne Stars region. So you've got a couple of pictures there with the green and the red. So anything green being the Stars region. So in my role, I basically work with clubs and cricket managers to try and grow participation in the Cricket Blast programs or across Cricket Blast programs, and also support with junior cricket around the green side of the state. We've also got Chris, who's on this call today. I'm going to hand it over to Chris for a quick intro.
Thanks, AK. My name's Chris Carnolage. I'm the school engagement lead at CV. So I do something similar to AK. I support the cricket managers in getting those 5 to 12-year-olds playing cricket, but I do it from a school perspective and help them in that way. I'm also the head contact for any school sport association when they're running any sort of program or regional event or something like that, and they need a bit of support. I'm kind of their person in the office that's a go-to. With that said, I will hand it over to Owen.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. And hello, everyone. My name is Owen Hewlett, and I'm the head of participation at Cricket Victoria. So working closely with both AK and Chris in what they've just presented to you there, in what they do, with just a broad focus on participation, really focusing in this year with our strategy on the 5 to 12 age group. So getting as many kids within that age group playing cricket. So yeah, looking forward to the session. We'll get into a little bit of the agenda of what we're going to be going through this evening. So firstly, we'll very quickly touch on running your Blast program. We've just got a nice visual there that will almost demonstrate how you might set up your Cricket Blast oval. Chris is going to take you through some tips for establishing strong school to club connection in your area. As AK alluded to earlier, we've got a guest speaker who is going to be talking about their experiences in running a Cricket Blast program. So really looking forward to that. We'll then get into transitioning kids from Cricket Blast to junior cricket. So I'll focus on some of the areas that might be barriers to kids that are participating in Cricket Blast, then going on to participate in junior cricket, and how we might break down some of those barriers. And then we'll finish off with some supporting resources and how you might find them. One of those being the CA Coach app, which we have asked you to download through the App Store if you haven't already. I'll now pass it to AK, who's going to talk you through the Australian Junior Cricket pathway.
And I've done it again. So I did the same thing yesterday. I went on mute and I started talking, but I'm off mute now, and I'm sure you've got me back. All right. So on your screens here, you've got the junior cricket pathway. As you can see, it's a progressive pathway. So it starts with your entry-level programs on your left-hand side with your junior blaster and your master blaster programs. This then transitions into your junior cricket stage 1, stage 2, and then stage 3. A lot of information on this slide. We will be sharing this with everyone, so you can go through it then. But all I want to call out here is the entry point, which is your junior blasters. That's for kids aged 5 to 7. It's a cool way to get young participants into the game through some fun-filled activities. This then follows into your master blaster, which gives blasters an opportunity to put all the skills that they've learned from a junior blaster perspective into modified games of cricket, which then feeds into your junior teams at your club. So that could be your under 12s, your under 14s, your under 16s, and so on. So a lot of information on the slide, but one key thing that you can look at is the bottom bit in the slide, which shows you that transition from the pitch size and the dimensions of the ground. So as you can see that with your master blasters, you've got a smaller pitch of 14 meters. Transitioning into junior cricket 1, it becomes slightly bigger into 16 meters, and then it goes further up from there. So it's a great way for you to ensure that blasters are being challenged and are having fun through the different stages of their development, or through the different stages of this pathway here. Another key thing is, like your safeguarding in children or your working with children documents that you display up in your club rooms. This is another cool image or a snapshot that you can have in your change room. So this way you can have mums and dads that drop their kids off just looking at this cool one pager to go, all right, this is the journey that my son or daughter is going to be a part of, or this is what I can see happen in the next 5 or 6 years. So it's a great endorsement for your club and for what your club can offer for young blasters right through to the various junior cricket teams that you have at your club. So a great way to get more people involved and keep them involved at your club. Perfecto. So with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Owie, who's going to talk us through some running a blast program structures.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I won't spend too much time on this slide, but we just really wanted to show it to you as we think it's a really good visual on how you might set up your Cricket Blast programs if you've got a really busy schedule. So if you've got junior cricket on at the same night, or if you've got a really big program with a lot of kids. So as you can see on the left, we've just got some really basic images of how you might set up your cricket oval should you be running Cricket Blast at the same time as a junior cricket game, which can happen from time to time. So there's some options there on the left, as you can see, having your Cricket Blast groups on the outfield, where you've got the junior cricket game taking up the centre wicket. And the other option there is if you've got your Cricket Blast program happening and you've got 2 junior cricket ovals set up, if you've got a really big oval, noting that the junior cricket ground sizes can be shortened, as AK just mentioned, through the junior cricket pathway there. On the right, we've also got, if you've got a really large program, so a lot of kids attending, you might look to set up the Cricket Blast groups on the outer edges of the oval, and then have your centre being like your check-in point and where the coordinator might stay for anything that happens during the program, and a bit of a collection point. So just some really simple visuals there to help you if you're wondering how you might be setting up your Cricket Blast program should you have other things occurring or a really big program. I'm going to hand it to Chris now, who's going to talk about establishing school to club connection.
Thanks, El. So yeah, we're going to talk a fair bit about school to club connection this evening, which is really exciting. When we talk about it on this first slide here, we're saying, how can we connect? So when we say we, we're referring to how can Cricket Victoria help you connect your club to a school? So linking your club to local schools. So we can connect you to schools through our established relationships. We have lots of established relationships with all the school sporting organizations throughout the state. We've also got our cricket managers who are the eyes and ears on the ground for us. And they're the ones who, if you reach out to them, can tell you which schools in your area are doing those school activations and are interested in, have those students who are interested in participating in cricket. We can do a lot of promotional activity as well. So we have an SSV partnership, so School Sport Victoria, where we do marketing with them on their social media pages. We'll be at region championships. So we have lots of opportunities to get the word about blast programs out there. And that includes those junior programs as well at clubs that we can promote through those channels. We have our schools roadshow. So schools roadshow happens usually in sort of that June, July sort of period when people start to maybe forget that cricket is a thing anymore. But we get out there and get some players from the Stars, mascots, Stars truck, Renegades truck, into those local schools to remind people that, hey, cricket season's just around the corner. As soon as you feel that first warm day, go sign up for your local blast program. So schools roadshow is a really great way of getting into schools as well, something that we do to try and boost those numbers. And the other thing that I'll mention here is that the mascot challenge, which we're going to talk about in a few slides, but mascot challenge is a great way for getting your foot in the door at schools and something that might be underutilized depending on the situation that you have within your local schools. So we'll talk about that in a second, though. So we can provide some data. So one of the biggest things that we do is collate, organize, analyze data. So we can find out which schools your participants attend, which schools have high rates of registered participation, which schools are currently running cricket programs, and some 4-year participation data highlighting trends within your junior participation at your club. So what we really find useful here is determining which schools and which pockets of schools have an interest from the students in playing cricket. So that's really what we're looking for. Not that we're going to completely let schools go when they don't have an interest. We still want to find ways into those schools, but ultimately the ones, sometimes you got to get the low hanging fruit, and the ones that are interested are going to be the ones that are going to potentially have the highest number of participants participating in your program. So that's really, we really want to target. And it goes similarly for those multicultural areas as well. So those students who are from those traditional sort of cricket backgrounds, we're definitely looking at that too to help move them across to play blast and then junior cricket at your clubs. Marketing collateral. So we do have a lot of marketing collateral that clubs can take advantage of. We have the community cricket marketing collateral. So that is going to provide you with some tiles for social media or Facebook banners that appear similar to the one that's appearing on the screen, bottom right corner there. So just a simple sign up today, Cricket Blast, getting the name of the program out there. And so that link will take you to that website where you can find those items. We also have Scoop. Scoop is editable. So editable social media or flyers or again, like those Facebook sort of banners potentially. So you can go online, pop your name, your club's name in there, print out a flyer, put it all around town, and have the Cricket Blast sort of logo with CV's backing attached to that. So definitely check out those two links, because they'll be useful when it comes time to going to school and giving mom and dad some flyers to hand out to take home to register. Again, like where to put these things: school newsletter, the Compass app, and social media. School newsletter is great, but school newsletter, you can kind of just, flick through. You don't necessarily have to read everything. The Compass app is really our A target, where that'll send a notification to parents at the school, where they have to read it, basically. So Compass app is our number one target. And again, social media, that's a great way of utilizing what your club already has, like the existing structures your club already has to promote itself, to do some extra marketing there. And similarly, if you can get a school to post, so and so cricket club came and did a wonderful assembly presentation today with some Cricket Blast activities afterwards. If they put that on their social media, then potentially some parents or some students from other schools, or just other parents who weren't there, might see that and be interested. So getting on the school social media is also important. On the next slide, we're going to talk about a little bit how you can connect. So that previous slide is how can we kind of help you, but here's some basic things that you can do straight off the bat to really connect with schools. So again, connecting with your local cricket manager, it's the first thing on this page, because it's the most important thing you can do, I'd say. The cricket managers for the regions that we have in Victoria, they are eyes and ears of all things cricket, and they're there to help clubs connect to schools in this scenario. So definitely reach out to your local cricket manager. They are the ones who know exactly where the students are playing, and they know what activations, what programs those schools are running. So they're more than happy to assist you in connecting a school to a club. Utilize the existing school connections within your club. So just an interesting statistic for you: over 80% of parents who volunteer and play at a cricket club or any sporting organization, 80% of those parents or guardians have one of their children will also play at that club. So if you think about it, if you have 2 or 3 parents who are playing and volunteering at your club, they might have a few students in one school. Next thing you know, all their little friends want to join, and you've got 12 to 15 kids in your blast program. So utilizing those existing school connections. If you have a teacher who plays at your club, use it. If you have a principal who plays at your club, use that connection. Those are some of the most important ways to get your foot in the door at any school. So utilizing those existing connections is a great way of being able to get into schools. Making connections with your local governments. So again, local LGAs have lots of information on schools, and they're more than happy to pass that information on. They want the schools to be a part of the community, and the schools want to be a part of the local community. So that is a great way of getting involved with schools. Schools will, again, want to be part of their local community, and they'll do that through local government. So if you potentially go to an LGA, like a local meeting, there might be a member of the school board there. There could be somebody from the school themselves there who you might be able to make use as a potential contact in the future. So connecting with your local government is always a great way of meeting people who work within those schools. One of the big ones on here too: establish a fun and engaging program. Word of mouth is the most effective form of promotion. So I'll give you one more statistic. 25% of the participants in this year's blast so far have heard it from a friend, and 50% have heard it from their local club about the blast program. So that's 75% of the participants this year have heard it from either their local club or a friend that they should play blast. That's a staggering statistic, really, when you think about it. And it's all just coming from having a good program. People want to talk about it. People want to get excited about it. And the more that you create that engaging program, the more people the more people will want to get involved with it. So definitely establish a fun and engaging program. It spreads like wildfire throughout schools. Again, having a strong presence on social media, engaging community pages. I've been using this example in these presentations, but I live in the Abbotsford, Collingwood, Fitzroy, Clifton Hill area, and I've been walking around recently and seeing all of the flyers in the windows from the Clifton Hill Cricket Club, who have just gone mad and posted them at every local business, every shop, every window. So it doesn't have to be a local community page. It just has to be a window. And having the Play Cricket logo on there, or having the Woolworths Cricket Blast logo on there with a playcricket.com QR code that'll take you to the website is a great way of getting your club's name out there, and also helping your club establish those local connections. So definitely look into something like that. It's so basic, it's so easy, and it sounds so simple. So definitely take advantage of it. Facilitating promotional activity at key times. So before and after school, things like assemblies. If you can get up in front of the parents and the students, that's so much better than just giving the students a flyer, because flyers end up with students at the bottom of their bags, and the bottom of an 8-year-old's backpack is generally more akin to a black hole than a bag itself. So definitely, if you can do that promotional activity at key times, either before or after school, when the parents are also there, you are more likely to get a bit of traction with your program. So facilitating it then with both those stakeholders is really important. And finally, on this page, playcricket.com.au, I can't say it enough. Make it into a QR code, put it on every flyer you have, put it on your website. Every social media post should link to it. That's the ultimate tool for where people can go to find your club and sign up for your club. So yeah, put that playcricket.com.au link everywhere you can in everything you do. So that way everybody knows exactly what to do. And the more you say it, the more people will remember it. So those are a few tips on how you can connect. So what we're going to move on to next is we're going to talk about the front gate mascot challenge. So I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but a mascot challenge, it's a free program, and basically 15 to 20 minutes before the morning school bell or after school bell at the end of the day, you want to facilitate a mascot challenge. Again, where possible, ideally, you would have a club member facilitate the activities. In my my sort of view on this is that it should be a club member who's also going to be there for your blast program, because students, especially, and parents, like to be in those familiar environments and those comfortable environments. So if you get someone who's going to be visible at the school in their club colors running a front gate mascot challenge, who's then going to be there at the cricket club when they do come to the cricket club, it just makes students who might be a little bit skittish about coming out to a new environment feel a bit more comfortable. And when parents see that, they also feel more comfortable. So definitely, if you can, make it the same person. Parents and students should definitely be invited to participate in the activities. Again, like, we want the parents to have just as much fun as the kids, and we want them to enjoy being a part of the blast program. So they're also they're the key stakeholders who are going to be doing the signing up on My Cricket. So it's really important to get them on board as well. Again, club member talking to parents and handing out information regarding the upcoming season. Definitely give it to parents. When it comes to flyers, if you are going to give a flyer to a student, my recommendation would be, potentially, if you could, put some sort of drawing or sticker pack on the back, so that there's a reason for the student to hold on to that. If it's a coloring in sheet even, then the student is more likely to take it home. Maybe it'll go on the fridge. Maybe mom and dad will look at it and go, "Oh yeah, cool, you did this thing today, and you've kept it all day, you've colored in, great drawing," and then your flyer for your club is right there on the back. So definitely, if you can do a small thing like that, it might just be, get you a few extra players out there. So if a club member can't make it, invite existing players who are teachers, parents, or even students at the school to facilitate activities on the club's behalf. I think one thing that might be overlooked is a lot of junior players, and even senior players at a lot of schools. They don't necessarily, they might have siblings at the school. They can facilitate a mascot challenge as well. So if you're 16, 17, 18 and you're playing cricket potentially at a club, you can always go down to the junior school if it's nearby, run a mascot challenge, have a bit of fun, and then off you get to school. So utilizing those members of your club as well is really important. So you can see on there as well, there's a QR code with a video that you can go and see how the mascot challenge works in schools. I highly recommend that you watch it, and definitely see if you can't implement that at some local schools where there's some interest. Again, mascot challenge, great way to get your foot in the door at any school as well. So definitely when you get this deck, when we send this slide deck out, definitely have a look at that. I'm now going to pass it off to AK, who has Tim O'Meara from the LePage Park Cricket Club.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. I did make sure I had myself off mute this time, so just FYI. But yeah, some powerful information there. It's some cool ways, as you said, to connect with cricket managers, and then using their information to then go back and connect with your local schools to try and get more people walking through your front doors at your club. So perfect, good stuff, Chris, and thank you for that information. Yeah, so we've got Tim O'Meara today from LePage Park Cricket Club. So LePage Park Cricket Club, I'm not going to steal any thunder from Tim there, but as a consistent, they run a consistent junior and master blaster program. They've had good numbers, say about 25, 30, 40 across their tour programs for the last 4 or 5 years. So there's some consistent numbers coming through there. So I've got Tim. Thank you again for joining us today, Tim. Quickly on to shoot some questions at you. I'm sure you've got your notes ready, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, thanks, AK. Thanks for having me.
Perfecto. Tim, just for viewers online today, can you quickly tell them a bit about yourself, about the Cricket Blast program that you coordinate? Where is it? And roughly how many participants do you get at your centre?
Yeah, so we're in LePage Park's in Cheltenham, down in the southeastern suburbs, and yeah, we've been doing our blast program, both sort of junior blasters now for maybe 20 years, maybe 18, 19 years. So I remember going down, in the early stages, and yeah, we only had a few kids, but they've steadily built, and we've fluctuated a little bit over those times, and with COVID and so on. But yeah, it's been a great program. From people remember it as into cricket, but yeah, it's changed into blasters, and yeah, we're having a ball at LePage. Junior blasters, we've been sort of in 3 different centres, so we don't. Being synthetic through the Seeker, we don't have our own centre, but we've been down to Moorabbin, down to Morley, we've been at Brighton Union, at Hurlingham Park, and we've also, the last 3 or 4 years, we've been down at Jerry Green Reserve in Parkdale. So, and Jimmy Seary and the crew down there, they run a great program with plenty of teams, but we look like having 2 teams there this year, up from 1 last year. So, yeah, the numbers in the junior blasters this year, we'll probably have about 15 to 20, I'd say. So yeah, we start on Saturday. So it's all looking good, and hopefully the weather's kind to us, and we'll be ready to go.
Excellent answer. As you said, the weather hasn't been kind, but I'm sure come a few weeks time, it's going to be shiny. Sun's going to be shining again, and then you can get your blasters out on the park. Some really good points that you put out there, Tim. But I'd really like to know how you got started. So what got you started as a blast coordinator? And what keeps you going?
Yeah, I was just basically, I think through parents really. We had a couple of parents with younger kids, and they just wanted to get involved. They were playing themselves, the parents, and so yeah. So it was a while ago now, like I said, but they just want to get kids involved, and they had friends and so on, and like we were talking about before, Eddie's very much a sort of friends and getting to know people and word of mouth. So so it got around, and we did. Yeah, we did Sunday morning sessions, and yeah, the kids flocked to it, and those kids are now, some of those kids are now playing in our first 11. It was near on 20 years ago, so they're playing in our first 11. So they've I've seen them, come up through that program, and yeah, we've really enjoyed sharing it with all those people and those parents, and yeah, it's been really good for our club too, for our junior development.
No, that's great. As you said, a great junior pathway that you've got at the club that enables these blasters to keep going and staying around closely with the game, and then eventually getting to their senior teams and whatnot. So a great answer there. Just quickly, how do you go about connections with schools? I'm sure you've taken a lot out of Chris's message there. Is there something that you do as a club that gets you into schools, and how do you build those relationships from a club and school perspective?
Yeah, actually, listening to Chris there, my ears pricked up, and there's a couple of things I've jotted down. So, so we'll definitely use them for our recruiting. But yeah, we went through talking about schools in the area. We've got about four primary schools in the area and a kindergarten, and we've just found that we've been lucky enough to have some existing contacts there, which has been great. And for the ones we haven't had, we've just in regards to flyers and so on, we put flyers in newsletters, and we advertise on our social media and stuff like that. But yeah, just in regards to schools or kindergartens that you're not quite sure, we've found it works okay if you've got a family that's involved in the cricket club, or who you can approach, who you might know well, who they can approach, the phys ed teacher or the principal or the lady or the guy in the front office and help you out. As you know, if going in cold, it can be not tricky, but yeah, if they've got someone they can trust from the school's point of view, and someone that they know, they might have had 3 kids go through there over 10 years, and they know that person well, and I shoot them off an email and just say, look, do you mind putting this in a newsletter, or can we do something with this school? And it generally works pretty well. So the existing contacts have been great, but yeah, getting into those schools and running a session. After school, we ran a session through Mark at Freeman, helped us out immensely a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago now, and we had some kids turn up at Cheldees Primary, and hopefully we've already had 1 or 2 sign up, and so the school visits and the newsletters and those points that Chris was making earlier, it is really important to grow the numbers.
No, great stuff. As you said, it doesn't require too many contacts. It's about trying to find that one person, and then just starting that first initial conversation, isn't it? Just trying to get that front foot in the door. If you're a batter, that you want to get your front foot out there. So it's similar in terms of building those contacts and as you said, going from there. And also like your answer in terms of how Mark Freeman, the cricket manager in your Bayside regions, helped you get into those schools, get into those key pockets, and then you made your way from there. So great stuff there. Just a couple more. I'm just going to pull this out and take you off guard there. So it's a rainy day like this today, and if you do have a rainy day during your cricket program, how do you go about modifying your session? Do you just send emails to parents saying we're not doing this today, push it to another day, or do you get creative, get them indoors and have a bit of fun?
Yeah, we haven't really got them indoors. I'd like to explore that a bit more. We generally it might be called off, but I'd like to explore that a bit more and we don't have sort of no one's got a indoor cricket facility in their backyard or next to their turf wicket, of course. But there's always things we can show them, whether it's on the TV in the club rooms and just talk about cricket. Even if you don't have to do it for the full hour, you can. I imagine, you can just do a half-hour session and even fill in the parents and the kids about the club, and especially if they're sort of new to the club, for sure. And it happened early, but I definitely think we often tack it on. We do 12 sessions, and if we get a washout, as long as it's not 3 or 4 washouts, we'll tack it on and make sure the kids get 10, 11, 12 sessions for the year. They're all, if you tack them on at the end, they're always happy to keep learning and come back. So but I'll look into that, okay, for sure. And there's got to be something we can do on wet days.
Now, good stuff. Mark Thornhill's just commented there saying you could play indoor game of Master Blasters. Sorry, perfect indoor game of Master Blasters is paper cricket. So hopefully we can look into that option, or you could also watch a game, as you said. There's also a mascot challenge that you can do, some stress balls, some catching, some basic stuff. And also the Big Bash is going to be on the there's going to be a lot of cricket happening this summer. So I'm sure there's a fair few options that we could explore on tough days like this. But great answer. Last one, Tim. I know you've given us some good content there already, but last one. In terms of using resources that you have on your community cricket website, like your coordinator handbook, activity cards, how do you go about using that on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, the cards are magnificent. Actually, look at that. Would you believe that? Okay, I've got them right here. So they're right by me. So I'm always looking at them, and they're all great. And yeah, so I'm looking at that and looking at the resources online through the resource portal and using all those flyers and images and so on that that Cricket Victoria have set up. So they're great. So I generally just obviously a lot of the coordinators would know that there's it's sort of set out in the handbook and how you want to go about it. I won't steal anyone's thunder, but it's probably when you've done it for a little while, you can work out what works for the kids and depending on what sort of age groups you've got. So I'll go through and use my cards and work out what works and even ask the kids once you get later into the sessions. Especially if they're returning kids and a bit older and they've done it before, and you might split up into two groups and you can even say to the kids, what do you guys like doing? Do you like batting? Do you like bowling? Do you want to do certain drills and so on? So we're pretty flexible, but as long as they're engaged, they're having fun, they're improving, that's what it's about for me. Sort of trying to plan sessions and so on. So while I don't stick 100% to the handbook in regards to we should be doing this in week 1, we should be doing this in week 10. It's as long as they're having fun and they're engaged and the parents are happy, to a certain extent, you know what I mean? It's all good and the program sort of looks after itself, and you get people coming back because that's what it's about. You want people to come back, and you want them to come back next week, and you want them to come back next year, and so on. So yeah.
No, great answer there, Tim. As you said, there's no one fit all approach here. It's, as you said, trying to keep it as fun, as engaging, and challenging as you go. So you want to ensure that kids have fun, they're active, they're playing cricket, they're with their mates, and as you said, they can come back and do the same things session after session and year after year. So great stuff. Love chatting with you there, Tim. Dave's put his hand up. I'm not sure if Dave's got a question. If Dave does have a question, I can open the floor for one question, Dave. David, you with us? All right, I reckon I'll keep going on. But yeah, if you've got any questions for us or for Tim, just put it in the chat there, and then we can always revisit that as we go. But yeah, huge thank you to you, Tim, for jumping on. And good luck for the season. I'm sure your Blasters are going to have a good time because they're in safe hands, and I'm sure we can get around the club and see how you operate this season. So yeah, big thank you and good luck for the season.
Yeah, thanks, AK. Much appreciated.
Pleasure. Alrighty. So moving on, there was some great inputs there from Tim. Again, useful tips that you can take back to your club. And I think the biggest thing that I've taken away from there is there's no one fit all approach. You've got to be ready to you've got to be open to changing activities as you go and making sure that your Blasters are having fun throughout your session. So thank you, Tim. Moving on, we've got another last piece that we want to cover. That is the transitioning from cricket blast to junior cricket. So as you can see on the slide here, there was research conducted by Ausport last season, just in terms of why kids aged 9 to 11 drop out. So 60% of kids aged 9 to 11 drop out of sport or from sport. So Ausport conducted this cool research, and they've come out with three major reasons why kids in that age bracket drop out of sport. And the first one being not fun or boring. So kids 9 to 11 years old said sport's not fun and it can get boring. So we've got some cool ways that you can bring in or cool tips that you can use at your club to just overcome that barrier. So up top there, you've got end of season presentation. So that's a great way for you to celebrate 3 or 4 years that your Blasters have had at your club. providing them with end of season medals. So we've got some blast medals that you can buy off the Cricket Blast shop, which you can use for your end of season presentation. So a cool way for you to go to celebrate their 4 years at your club, and also trying to get them associated a bit more with your club through those presentation nights. What you can also do is have your junior and senior players run training. So often for blaster age kids, you want to change it up. You want to have a different voice come into training and provide a bit of variety to that training session. So a great opportunity for you to link in your junior cricketers at your club, or maybe even some senior cricketers that want to assist run these programs. So I play at the Campbell Magpies, and we as a senior playing group need to do one session of the blast. So it's a rule upon the senior players to come back and do one session, one to assist the blast coordinator, and also as I said, just to change up, change a bit of have a different voice at training. So some cool things that you can do in incorporating your junior and senior cricketers. What you can do is also run your program alongside your Junior Cricket 1 game. So as Owie mentioned, in that structure where you have junior cricket happening alongside your junior blasters and your master blaster session. So this way, kids can look across and see what junior cricket has to offer. Mums and dads who drop their blaster kids can also have a look at what the next stage of cricket your club can offer. So a great way for you to just create some interest amongst parents, the key decision makers, to keep their blaster kids coming back to your club rooms or back to your club. You can do some, you can run some cool barbecue programs at your session. So it doesn't just have to be cricket. It can also be watching a game of BBL when there's BBL on. There's so much cricket happening this summer. I think we're lucky that we've got the women's big bash, which is going to kick off next week. We've got the men's big bash around the corner. We've got the T20 World Cup. We've got some Test cricket. So there's a lot of cricket happening. So it doesn't just have to be finish a blast session and go home. It could be finish a blast session, get into the club rooms, have a barbecue, have a super duper, have a healthy snack, and watch some cricket on the TV. So just doesn't have to be cricket. So make sure it's fun and engaging. The last one there is Junior Cricket 1 is played in T20 format. So as you all know, T20 formats are fun. It's short. It's action packed. So letting the key decision makers, that's mums and dads, know that when you finish Master Blasters, you go into Junior Cricket 1, which is T20 format, which is fun, not too long, exciting, and your kids are going to have a great journey through their next step, which is the Junior Cricket 1 format. So with that, I think I've covered the not fun and bored part. I'm going to pass it over to Owie, who's going to take us through the next point.
Thanks, AK. Yeah, so the next point here that we're going to touch on is the fact that sport can take too long. And specifically with cricket, this is a barrier that we've worked quite hard at to break down, specifically in the junior space. The fact that cricket is seen as a sport that can take up to 3, 4, 5 hours or at times all day. It's definitely not what we want for junior cricket. And as you would know, Cricket Blast is a really short, action-packed program as well. So some of the points here that we've got relating to junior cricket are the fact that games can be played in a split innings format. So that means that in one night or day, both teams get the chance to bat and bowl. It doesn't mean that the game needs to be finished. It can be the first half of the game, just ensuring that kids are actively participating, but the game isn't being drawn out for too long. So you're not playing 60 overs in a day. Instead, you're playing 30. Both teams are having 15 overs to bat and bowl, and then the next week you come back and play the next 30. So you're getting games done in potentially 90 minutes to 2 hours, and kids are doing both skills of the game. Another point there around games can be played midweek and after school. So again, with daylight savings, as you know, in summer, games can be played during the week. And we're really aiming for those games. Generally, they're going for around 2 hours to 2.5 hours. And sometimes with Junior Cricket 1 can go for 90 minutes, similar to a Master Blast game. So really trying to drive that short, sharp, action-packed game, and getting them to do all aspects of the game. I've covered it off there, but Junior Cricket 1 definitely promotes active participation. So throughout the Junior Blast program, which is a skills-based program, the kids are learning everything and doing everything from batting, bowling, and fielding, to also just basic fundamental movement skills. And then as it progresses, it slowly gets more into the skill and game-based parts of cricket through Master Blast. And then Junior Cricket 1, as I said earlier, with ideas such as split innings and shortened T20 formats, we're really trying to get kids to enjoy all aspects of cricket in a really short, sharp, action-packed game. So just some things that we're implementing there around the rules of the game, both in Cricket Blast and Junior Cricket, in the way it's being played, to ensure that it's not taking too long, and also it's not taking too long for kids to have a go. So yeah, we're really ensuring that there's active participation across their journey. Over to the third point now, and I'll get Chris to cover this one.
Thanks, O. So that third reason there that cricket can be too expensive, or sport can be too expensive generally. So first thing, top one, discount for participants that transition from Master Blast to Junior Cricket. So yeah, you can spruik that at your club, and that's something that can be really useful to talk about, especially when you're transitioning, especially with parents going forwards. So spruiking that is a really great way of sort of starting a conversation about expenses. And yeah, so definitely you can bring that up with anyone who's doing Master Blast at your club. The next one, having club equipment that can be utilized by players. So at least sharing a short sort of window of my journey as a cricketer. Obviously, I'm not, my accent probably gives me away. So my first gear that I played cricket with was all borrowed gear from just generous other players at the club that I still play at. So yeah, like even most clubs have spare gear lying around as well, and it's not, we're not asking everyone to go out and buy all new cricket gear. So definitely if you have some spare club gear, some spare club kit that a junior may need, that's a great way of keeping them engaged and breaking that barrier down. The next one there, so promoting the Master Blast offering is value for money. So you do get a lot of things from the Master Blast offering. You get it's 10 weeks long. You get some equipment provided, a pack, and a barbecue after each session. So yeah, if you promote it in that way, it becomes a lot more appealing to families that might be a bit of under a bit of money pressure. So yeah, definitely promoting it that way will help engage those families, and obviously providing club shirt for Master Blast participants. So if I know at my club in particular, my registration season fee gets me a free club shirt. Something like that can be an attractive way for people to stay connected to their club. So definitely exploring things like that is a way of breaking down some of those too expensive barriers. What we're going to move on to now in the next slide, thank you, is just some supporting resources that will help you, and just some links and phone numbers that will help you going forward. First of all, on the left, the Cricket Blast help desk, so 1-800-CRICKET or cricketblast@cricket.com.au. They can help you with program refunds, equipment delivery, participant packs, and My Cricket support. Yeah, definitely useful there. If you have any sort of logistical questions, that's definitely the place to go with them. The National Clubroom Series, so that link there will take you to the Community Cricket website, and they'll talk about how to grow your Blast program, marketing, club promotion, and something that we've touched on a little bit tonight, but probably just want to make it really clear how important safeguarding children is. It's obviously probably the most important thing that we can do. So every club needs to do it, and so that's, if you have any questions about what that involves, then the National Club Room Series is the best place to go to find that information. The community cricket website, just generally, will give you some more information about the resources that we have available from Australian cricket. So the coordinator handbook, activity videos, skill cards, and online training, some things that Tim sort of already helped us out with earlier tonight when he had the activity like skill cards with him, which was a great plug and shows you how great they can be. Yeah, I'm pretty much on there almost every day with my job, looking for activities and resources and studying those things. So definitely go onto that website. There's primary school, secondary school. There's handbooks for students of all abilities. If you want to find health and PE programs, so things that students might be doing in their classrooms with a PE teacher that you want to use at Cricket Blast, that's always a great way of engaging students because they're able to come straight in and know exactly what the activity is, and it's a bit less time, explaining, some directions and how the activities actually work. So if you can go to the community cricket website, definitely take some time and explore it. The final one on this page, the cricket managers. Again, they're our eyes and ears on the ground for each region of Victoria. If you click that link there, it will take you to the CV website where we'll have an interactive map and it'll show you exactly who the cricket manager is with their contact details for any particular region in the state. So definitely go to that website and have a look around. What I want to do now is I want to pass it back to AK. I'm going to give him the baton. He's going to take us home and talk about the CA Coach app.
Perfecto. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, the CA Coach app. So I did receive David's email. So I think this is what you're looking for, Dave. It's the CA Coach app, which you can get through the App Store. So if you're using an iPhone, it's on your Apple Store. If you're using a Android phone, it's on the Android Store. I'm not quite sure what it's called, but I think it's the Android Store. Alrighty. With that said, okay, the CA Coach app. So it's a one-stop shop for everything Cricket Blast. So I'm sure we've got some experienced coordinators here who've used the Blast app, which was there 3 seasons ago. So essentially what Cricket Australia have done is taken the app away. So they've taken the Blast app away and they put all the content from a Blast perspective into the CA Coach app. So a lot of coaches around the country use this app for their junior cricket programs and what have you. So this is more a reintroduction of the Woolworths Cricket Blast content on this app. So it's a one-stop shop for everything Cricket Blast. Hopefully you've got it already on your phones. If you have some cool things that you can have a look at here. I'm sure if you haven't got it now, you can when we finish the webinar, you can spare 5 minutes just to quickly download the app because I'm going to try and sell this to you in the next 2 minutes. But yeah, if you've got it on your phone, head to the Woolies Cricket Blast section. And then you can see on the app there, it's got the ready to go session. So it's got various tiles that you can see in that center image on your screens. And if you have the app, just tap on ready to go sessions. So when you tap on ready to go sessions, it provides you with a calendar or a schedule that you can use for your Junior Blaster program. So as you can see that top screenshot on your screens, you've got Junior Blasters, you've got session 1 and 2, you've got some activities that you can look in and deliver for session 1 and 2. If you click on sessions 3 and 4, it gives you a list of 4 or 5 different activities that you can do for session 3 and 4. And then you can keep going with session 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it pretty much gives you a planner that you can use for your Junior Blaster program and your Master Blaster program. So it breaks it down, keeps it nice and simple. It's also got some videos that you can look into by just the press of a button. So a cool way to have Cricket Blast in your back pocket, I guess. It's also got Cricket Blast activity videos. So if you've got some mums and dads, or if you've got a junior cricketer at your club helping you run a certain drill, all you've got to do is, hey mate, can you get this on your phone? Click of a button. Let's look at batting blast, which you can see on your screen there. You click that play button, and then it gives you a quick 4-minute rundown on how you can run batting blast. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but yeah, batting blast. And if you've got someone who's never done cricket and you've got them doing bowling, you just get into the bowling section, tap on a bowling video, and you go, "Hey mate, can you please do this as one of our activities for our session?" And then they're ready to deliver that session for you when your blasters arrive. You've also got all the cool resources that Chris mentioned and Tim mentioned with your coordinator handbook, your activity cards. They also live on the app. So if you need some more information on how you can go about running a session, these powerful resources, I'll just tap away on your phone. Lastly, one thing that you can complete after we finish this webinar is the Cricket Blast module. It takes about 30 minutes to complete. It just gives you a quick refresher on all the information that we've shared, and it also lets you complete a quick 10-minute questionnaire, which just gives you a certificate saying you've completed your Blast coaching module. So another way to refresh your Blast content, I'd say. But yeah, have a play around. I reckon the app's cool. If you haven't got it already, I'm sure when we finish up here, you will be downloading this on your phones. So it's I guess your best friend that you can have during the summer. With that, the last thing that we would like to tick off is practical sessions. So today's webinar focuses on a lot of admin related content. So it talks about getting your Master Blaster program online, how you can engage with schools, and the various barriers that you face from a transition point of view from Cricket Blast to junior cricket. With that said, we've got cricket managers out there who are trying to work on some practical sessions. So cricket managers are currently working with your local cricket associations, trying to lock in venues and some times. Now that we've got our grounds back from footy clubs, we've got access to some club rooms where we can run these programs. So keep an eye out. I will be sending a follow-up email with the slide deck and some information regarding these practical sessions. So it's got links there where you can register like you did for this webinar, and then we can communicate logistics from there on. So keep an eye out for that follow-up email, and then yeah, practical sessions would focus on more delivery for you. So focus on trying to use the CA Coach app on the go, and how you can set up your different activities out in the park. So yeah, that's practical sessions. With that, I'm going to open the floor for some questions. So if you do want to use the chat function, you can drop your questions in the chat, or if you want to get yourself off mute, we can do the same as well. I think Winston, have you got a question? You're trying to get off mute.
Just fiddling.
Oh, no, all good.
Well, thanks, boys. Very good session.
No, thank you for joining in.
Some good feedback from Mark there around the CEO Coach app and the Blast section, which is great. So I think you covered it really well, okay, but a fantastic resource to use. So yeah, really handy. If there are no more questions, more than happy for you to start jumping off. And yeah, we really appreciate you attending tonight. And if you'd like to ask questions and stay on, please do. But yeah, more than happy to let you go and enjoy the rest of your night. So thank you very much.
So I've just got a question come up there asking about the workshop or where they can find these slides. So a couple of options. We've recorded the session. We will be putting this session up on the Cricket Victoria website where you can always go back and re-watch it if you like. But I'm also going to send the same slide deck in an email probably early next week. So we've got another session to complete tomorrow. Once we've done that, we can share these slides around to you guys. So keep an eye out in your inboxes. And thank you, Tim, for jumping in and providing some valuable inputs there. Really appreciate you coming on and some great points. So big thank you on behalf of the entire team.
Yeah, no, not a problem, mate. It was great. Thanks to Mark and the three guys there, or the three of you. And yeah, anytime's good. Thank you, and enjoy your seasons. All the best to you guys with the season and everyone else. Yeah, let's hope we get on this weekend.
No, that's it. Fingers crossed.
Spot on.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Tim. Really appreciate it. Great stuff.
See you
Thank
later.
you.
Bye.
Bye. I reckon we could